Welcome out to another story roundtable. This one is the Topnotch Tangler, and I am joined by the Topnotch Tangler herself.
Hello.
Miss Kimberly Benson, played by Samantha Stark. I am joined by Commissioner Carl Darling.
I'm proud to hold both positions.
Keith Jackson, you're Dr. Yes. Jackson. And Lieutenant Kristin Smith, Katie Boysenall.
Thanks for mentioning me.
Sweet. For the record, this will go...
I'm here.
Joe is not here, but you will hear his thoughts later in the podcast on a separate conversation. He's not able to make this recording.
He's here in spirit.
He is.
Ironic, given that he's supposed to be super fast.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to go with the Spirit Airline joke.
Oh.
Yeah. Here in Spirit. Yeah.
He should have flown home himself.
Yeah, right. Kim should have gone and picked him up. What should have happened?
So we are talking the 5th season finale. We've done another roundtable before with the Topnotch Tangler. I can't remember what season that was after, maybe season 3 or something. But we are here to talk the 5th season finale and the 5th season as a whole. This will go live for your information after the season finale that we're performing today, so you can talk about anything that you know about the story that's been performed or is being performed. Let's just in general start with Sam. What have you thought of the arcs that we've just gone through? I mean, basically everything, we're talking about everything from Helizani on. How have you felt the segment's been developing?
I think the segment develops really well. We've added new characters. We've had a lot of growth. Relationships have grown and changed. I really think that, like, knowing sort of our direction and where we're going, there is some darker tones that I'm really excited to get into, because not all superheroes, like even look at Marvel, it's not all bright colors and the good guy always wins. There's going to be some real, there's been some real challenges, but there's going to continue to be some big challenges, and I'm excited.
Keith?
Not all capes wear superheroes. I'm going to have to process that. Mostly because my memory has to load everything that's even happened. I can't believe how overwhelmed I've become with, how long we've been doing this, in the sense of, I keep saying this a lot. I remember that first year or two, I just kept going, wow, I'm just keeping up with everything. I've got this whole compendium of stuff in my head that's going to be happening. It's just, there's so many sketches now and so many things, so many episodes. I can't keep track of season numbers. It's just...
I know, I don't. I'm just like, this episode.
As a reminder, because I'm looking, the first story roundtable was after the first 3 seasons, and at that point we were still doing very standalone stories. Season 4 was all of the flashbacks with Kim and the Stingray, and Helizani's big arc, and season 5 was the one we just got through, with the time travel and with the engagement and with the freedom fighters. So that's essentially what we're talking about, is the Helizani arc and this arc. Katie, your thoughts?
For me, it's been great. I mean, this is very, on a selfish level, but I mean...
Well, you came in season 4,
I've been so much more involved.
Well, you came in season 3, but you weren't.
Yeah. Smith's been fighting for, a place in the universe, I think, a solid, steady place that, people care about her character. So that's been exciting for me, to have more involvement with her, and especially with stuff that's recently happening, even today. I've been approaching Smith as she's the Jessie to Carson's Woody, and I feel like we're sort of departing from that a little bit. So it's just a little bit. She's this is Toy Story 3, evil, and she's on the other side of it. But, so that's kind of exciting to have that involvement and growth. And I mean, I know it's not necessarily a huge part of it, but Holly Harper sort of wormed her way into the Topnotch universe, so it's been a good era for me. So I've enjoyed being more part of this segment.
Let's get that twist out of the way right now. What did you think of finding out that Smith was a villain that's been a mole in the department for years?
I kind of, I felt like I was a little bit more in the know on this one, because literally probably a year ago, we had discussed that. I mean, you didn't confirm that it was what was going to happen, but I think you were on the fence about Smith and what to do with her. And so I didn't know that it was going to happen, but when I found it out, I was like, okay, I did know that this was possible. And I think that in my original Meet the Cast, I was sort of maybe it would be cool to be a top-notch villain. I don't know if I said that, but I think I might have said that. So it kind of is like, okay, well.
When you're done listening to this, go listen to Katie's 101.
You're part of the villain group, yeah.
Yeah, I think I said that. If I didn't say that, then maybe I thought it. I don't know.
So, Keith, how do you think this is going to affect Carl? Because he has just gotten over... We had all these arcs where he felt betrayed by Kim and Carson keeping secrets from him. Then his best friend, Carson, left him with Smith. And that became your new number one, and now she's betrayed you. Where do you think Carl's going to stand as we start the next season?
He's probably going to be okay.
It happens.
No, he's numb at this point. I might be projecting.
I was saying, no, Carl, not Keith.
No, I was. It's interesting his reaction to finding out the twist, things like that. Because as perhaps famously, I don't know how many things these people on the other side of this microphone, yeah, inside the recorder, have been following, but I am famously averse to knowing things like that ahead of time. And I think there's something fun about even when I'm just sort of skimming, that's the problem. I will skim through the script, and then sometimes when we're actually finally doing either the rehearsal or even the final, I'm going, wait, no, what? I'm processing this. Wait, the stage direction, wait, what? Okay.
That's one of my favorites is seeing Keith's reaction because you don't like the spoilers. And even at rehearsal when we're going through something and then all of a sudden he stands up straighter and he sits up really straight very suddenly and he's like, huh? And it's just like, you didn't know.
But I think there's something else that you said for having the seed of that. I mean, it's not like you knew for certain, as you were saying.
Yeah.
But just having that, maybe it'll happen, maybe it probably won't. But then all of a sudden, thing is happening.
Yeah. Ambiguity.
And I'd say the first 3 seasons were very focused on the Topnotch Tangler and her fighting villains. And the 4th season, we had all this backstory of the Topnotch Tangler. But the 5th season has been more fragmented. We've introduced a lot of characters into the world, and we've split the story a bit more. What do you feel like that does for the character of the Topnotch Tangler?
I feel like that expands her world. We already know, even with the shorts, when we started doing her sort of backstory, and we've introduced other smaller heroes, what was it, that took on, the one short, the Turtle Township.
Yeah.
I think it expands her universe as we've learned that there are different tiers of superheroes, and Kim is very, or the Topnotch Tangler being Kim, so they're both very all right, everyone, we're in this together. So I think she's like a rise up type. She wants everyone to be doing the right thing, and I think it expands our Topnotch Tangler as a whole. Even if it's not focused on her, is such a great segment, and I think her realizing that not everyone who's a hero is altruistic is hard for her, but it's a lesson that she really needs. So that's going to expand her mind and help her be a better person and help people by not trusting everyone that claims to be a hero.
Well, I'd say where we ended season 4 with the villain team up and hero team up against Hell's Annie, Topnotch Tangler was the leader of that group of heroes. And in season 5, when we introduced the Freedom Fighters, she's the newbie in that group, this larger group. So
yeah, so goes from here.
Now she's the big fish in the small. Or now she's the small fish in the big pond, versus the big fish in the small pond. And yet, everything that she's done with the Freedom Fighters ended up coming back to Tip Town and the people she knows. So do you think that will change her dynamic in the group going forward? Or do you think she still feels like she's the small fry on the team?
I don't think Topnotch ever feels like the small fry. I feel like she's confident in her abilities and her powers. She's not boastful, which a lot of people, confuse boastful with confidence. She is confident in what she can do, how she can help. Without being boastful, and I don't think I don't think she feels hindered or negative in any way. I think she feels like, all right, let's do this. I'm part of this team. She's excited. Yeah. It's she's excited, but I think that she's confident and has no problem stepping up to the plate.
I think you're right. I think I misspoke, and you did a very good job setting it straight. Carl,
I've untangled.
Do you think Do you think Carl regrets marrying Kim yet? Because he's immediately now kidnapped and drugged back in time.
I forgot about that part.
And he's not. And he wasn't really into the superhero world, but now he can't avoid it.
for the audience inside the recorder.
The little tiny elf.
Yes, we haven't performed the episode that he's referring to yet. We're about to get to
rehearsal.
I know, but I'm just explaining why it hasn't really set in what's going to be happening.
It's not real love on stage.
Yeah, well,
You guys have already heard it. If you haven't, get it on the podcast feed.
but I don't think that he's had time to process it enough to regret it. I mean, it wasn't.
He doesn't.
I don't think it has anything to do with the marriage itself. At this point, I don't. And again, this might be rejection as well from me, Keith. I mean,
Yes.
it's just there's too much pressure put on a lot of people within society about those kinds of formalities and labels and so forth.
Yep.
I mean, they already had a relationship and it was going to happen one way or the other. I mean, they were already together.
True.
It's not like that ceremony changed anything necessarily.
Right. I just wonder if he regrets being drug into the superhero world.
Oh, okay. The first time he said that, almost like he was roofied or something.
I mean, he kind of was.
Wasn't
Magically roofied.
Right,
Yes,
yeah,
man.
so was that Smith's power?
No.
Okay.
She doesn't have a power.
She's just manipulative.
Yeah.
It's just a power in a way.
The Staten Island Fairy knocked y'all out.
Okay, that's what it was. So is the idea that all of the freedom fighters are from a different time, or is it Staten Island Fairy?
No.
Is it, none of them are?
No, none of them are from a different time.
With the time travel come up because Big Baby coming back.
No, the time travel from this story is that the Staten Island Fairy is actually the sister of Lady Liberty's father, who was the leader of the freedom fighters and disappeared during the Supers War in 1997. So she's trying to go back to rescue her brother.
Was that mentioned explicitly in this episode?
Yes.
Wow.
That was while you were unconscious, though, so maybe you weren't paying attention. You were on stage, but you were unconscious.
Yes. Or I will have been on stage.
Yes.
Unconscious.
I think Keith has this great ability to, he hears a spoiler and then his brain just deletes it.
Sometimes I really do have to try to force it out and compartmentalize it. And sometimes it's useful in the sense of believability for the character.
I like it.
Just
Yeah. Katie Smith turned in her magic gun. Do you think there's any way she can make her way back to the police force? Or do you think
Katie
she's
Smith?
done?
I don't know. I mean, I'm always about there's always some way she could. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like she hasn't crossed from what we've done. I feel like she hasn't necessarily crossed that line of being unredeemable quite yet. She's definitely in the morally gray area, but I don't feel like she's past the point of no return necessarily. At least that's what I like to believe. Because
there's been precedent. See, I can remember some things that happened.
The
this year.
Topnotch Tangler forgets.
Yeah, there are other villains who have probably done worse things than we think we've seen her do so far.
Yeah.
Do we know how much Smith is?
I mean, she basically was a spy and found out your secret identity and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I think there's instances where you can be sympathetic towards a spy, and this is coming from someone who's played this character for a while, not knowing for sure. This is I'm just coming to terms with yes, okay, for sure she is evil. Not that there wasn't hints at there, but I feel like I've been playing her as this.
She doesn't see herself as evil. Villains really do.
Yeah, right. So, and I haven't been thinking of her as someone who's been, evil, so I guess maybe I'm also processing that this new era for her is that, okay, maybe she is, now I'm trying to figure out, okay, she's kind of morally gray, just how evil, or how far are we going with this, That'll be something for another season.
I feel like Kim is so, probably hurt, because, when Smith saw Carl out with, was it the Topnotch Tangler? And she was like, Miss Benson.
Yeah.
And, it was, girls helping each other and supporting each other, and then it's you word.
Wait,
Well,
so
how much of it, though, how much of her actions in the last couple of years have been manipulation, and how much were her just living her life within that role?
That's for the
And
audience
that's-
to figure out.
And that's for me to figure out, too, as the actor.
Was she trying to split them up? Or was she really just no, I think he's cheating on you, I'm going to tell on him.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be against my mission, so it's fine to do it.
I think that was her trying to figure out identities, maybe.
Also, yeah, I mean,
She didn't know your identity at that point.
I know, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. It's like maybe
fishing around.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, well, I mean, and yeah, that's like as an actor where I have to kind of realign where I'm at with this character, because I've been playing it genuinely, like, hey, I'm pal, I'm looking out for you, girl, like, you know, like, so I have to sort of go back, I think, and sort of okay, what was she, I know what I was thinking of as the actor, but now knowing the fuller context of it, how, like, what maybe was this actually, like, I have to redo a lot of stuff that I've been, you know.
And maybe she really did think of them as pals.
Yeah, and
that could
then
fit within
there's
the
that
context.
too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of discovering Smith again for me, I think.
I just wanted to say that, I mean, do we know really what her specific instructions from Staten Island Ferry were?
We have not revealed that again.
Yes, I mean, it could just really could have just been buddy up with them, get her to trust you, and just keep tabs. It doesn't sound like she's really done anything necessarily that's like...
Yeah.
Well, and there are like spies where it's like, how long has she been like brainwashed into this position, or did she choose this position? That's something too. It's like, is she been like a spy since she was 2 years old? Like, I don't know, like, you know.
There was a code word.
She's a Black Widow. Well, we keep saying villain, but do we even know the Staten Island Ferry's a villain?
Right, exactly. That's why I was...
Morally gray, yeah.
I think
she's trying to save her brother.
Yeah.
We haven't seen her kill anybody. Yeah. We did see her break into Pimber Labs and use equipment she should have access to, but did she do it for good enough reasons? If she's not murdering, if she's not stealing, should we really talk about her as the villain?
So you kept saying evil before. It's like,
You're right.
Well, there's not...
Yeah, we haven't established those characters are evil. Yeah. Very different than the Helizani battle, where we knew Helizani was evil, trying to kill people.
I think that's fair. I think it's a fair, you know, the whole good and evil.
Yeah.
Sometimes I miss the simplicity of
Helizani.
Well, no, I mean, like, I'm talking like 1980s superhero type lore. Yeah, and now that things are finally... Now that technology has caught up with the ability to really portray these things, the world has gotten a lot more complicated. Rather, people are acknowledging that they should be portrayed as more complicated than they've been teaching the kids.
Yeah.
Or us now, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's fun to have the street villains.
Right. Yes. Yeah. But my point is that, yes, it's hard to say evil for most of these things, but when you have someone who is like I'm, killing people for fun kind of thing, that's it's fair, I guess.
The most compelling bad guys are the ones that you can identify with their scenario. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you're like, oh, no, I can see why you would do that.
Yeah.
Would I do the same thing? Would I do it differently? Would I do something to save this? Would I do the same thing to save this person? So that to me creates a really, really compelling scenario.
I think the thing that Staten Island Ferry's done, besides breaking into Pimmer, which you could argue Pimmer's kind of crooked anyway, but the thing that she's done that's kind of reprehensible is she took hostages to force Kim to do her will. She has Carl and Carson and Dawn of Justice and Midwest Marvel, and they are hostages. She basically said, do this or else. So whether that's an empty threat or whether she's serious remains to be seen.
Yeah.
No, I know Sam said it on the season 6 story meeting, so she has more ideas than most people.
Of what's going to happen.
But until it's written, nothing's set.
Exactly, and that's kind of the fun part. Is like I won't know for sure. Like I was part of one story meeting when we were talking about who is the shadowy figure, because we didn't know when we introduced the shadowy figure who was going to be the shadowy figure, and we had one idea and we all really liked it. Then I missed one story meeting because I was out of town, came back and it was completely different, and I was like, oh, cool. Like
for a long time, it was going to play into the Helizani finale, and then we ditched that idea, kept it.
For a while, it was going to be Carl.
It was going to be Carl? Or it was going to be the Stingray, like, projecting outside of his body?
Yep.
We had a few different ideas.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the reason we did not use it for that story was when I wrote that 80-page story, I was like, there is not room to justifiably pay off what we've set the shadowy figure up to be. So let's save it and use it for another plot. And then when we broke season 5, we're like, okay, now the shadowy figure was introduced in season 3. It's time we actually figure out who the shadowy figure is.
Oh my God. Time means nothing.
The shadowy figure is the Staten Island.
Yeah,
that's confirmed.
Nothing else is going to change from that.
I'm curious about what your idea would have been. Is that something that could be used for something else? Like even the aspect of it. and not just the identity.
Was it a time traveling Carl? Like on the eve of the wedding, going back.
Yeah, it was the eve,
Okay.
it was the eve of the wedding, and someone was going to try to disrupt the wedding, and then you got pulled into some shadowy dimension, and then you were trying to tell us something, but you couldn't break through. So you were the shadowy figure, and it was actually going to be the good guy, and then you were going to come back to your body right before the wedding, and Kim wasn't going to have any idea that anything was potentially wrong.
You'd be the hero of that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Glad we scrapped that. I mean, that sounds...
We get a lot of great pitches from different cast members, especially those of you that participate in story meetings.
Aha!
But the thing is, when I sit down to write it, if I can't wrap my head around how this makes sense and works for the greater story, then I'm not going to do it. And we can have it in notes, but as I'm writing it, if it's not fitting, then I'm going to change my mind.
Oh yeah, and I think one of the great things about having those story meetings and all of us having we all have really great ideas. It's just none of us have an ego about it. Yeah. So you didn't use my idea, that's fine. As long as the story makes sense. And we ended up in a really great place that I really love how the story's progressing. It doesn't matter if you used my idea or Keith's idea or Katie's idea or your own idea, as long as the story makes sense.
And if it doesn't make sense to me, but it makes sense to you, you can always go write that script.
Yeah.
I think back in year 1, you pitched that Universe Journey should visit a planet full of dogs. And it's still in the notes. And I'm like, I'm not really a dog person. I don't get that concept enough to do it. If somebody else wants to do it, they can. But I'm not going to half butt it when somebody else can go in and actually do it. I'm keeping the language clean. But I'm not going to take that story and give it a lackluster effort if I don't have my head around how it fits.
I have a huge idea for something else that I'm just I don't even know how to write all of this, because it will encompass 4 of our big sketches.
Ooh, you might want to use a word processor or something.
It's a whole...
Keyboard.
Thank you, Keith. You're so helpful.
Yeah, I thought of that.
No, I didn't. I didn't know. Pen and paper.
You just wanted to keep it all in your head.
Yep. Yeah.
We could definitely meet about that later.
It was a whole big thing that I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know.
I mean, we'll need a 10th anniversary soon enough, so.
Yeah, that's true. Christmas specials.
Yep. I definitely think our 10th anniversary will be some big crossover event, but I don't know what it is yet. Anyway, right now I'm focused on the 100th episode of Universe Journey this fall.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And our anniversary next week.
Well, not to be dismissive, but I wrote that months ago. I moved on. I'm still
we're still in it.
I'm still looking forward to seeing it performed, and I'll be back in it when we get into the script. But I moved on to other scripts at this point.
He's like, I don't care about your script.
No, it's not that.
I know, I'm just teasing.
Since then, I finished writing a season of Travel with Tim. I finished writing a season of The Morning Show with the musical. I finished writing, so my mind's on the other stuff. But yeah. So I do want to talk about Carson, even though Joe's not here. And I'm going to put in Joe's thoughts on Carson in this arc here, so listen to Joe.
Pause for a minute.
Mr. Joe Morales, you sadly were not with us for the larger story roundtable, but here in the middle, we have your thoughts. Welcome.
Hello, yes, thank you for bringing me to do this.
Of course. I wanted to obviously Carson, it's kind of funny because Carson was kind of backseat this season.
Yes.
So it's kind of funny that you weren't part of the full roundtable.
Oh, it's fine. I was like, it's kind of nice to at least be able to still be a part of it no matter what.
Of course.
But yeah, I was like, I've enjoyed kind of that Carson was able to take a little bit of a backseat. He's a family man now. So he's allowed to take a little bit of a backseat for a little bit.
Well, we were looking at the last time we did a Topnotch Tangler roundtable was right before you quit the show.
Oh, yeah.
And so then you came back, and Carson missed most of season 3 because that happened to coincide with the 6 months you were gone.
That's right.
And then the whole Hellas Annie plot, and then all of season 4. How do you feel about Carson's role in the segment?
I feel like now, because he's obviously going to be a dad. He was going through already so many changes because at that time I was leaving the show to move away, and then obviously the 2020 happened and that changed. But then, of course, for him, he was moving to Century City, that he was kind of starting a whole new life with all of his powers, and then
and his villainous bow.
Yep. and this bad rap, which, by the way, it's just very coincidental that she happened to give birth in real life. Anna gives birth at the same time, not the same time, but close enough to the same time that.
Yeah, Bad Rap gave birth
is
earlier in the
giving birth.
season.
Yeah.
And obviously that stuff was written before she even got pregnant. So, yeah.
That was just coincidence. It was not anything planned. She did not plan to have a baby right at that time. Like, this has to be real.
She also became troop eligible right about the same time.
Did she?
She
Oh,
did.
gosh, yeah.
And so I talked to her and I said, I understand you're about to have a baby and this probably isn't something you want to think about. But after the baby, if you want to talk about it, come back and talk to us. And she said, yeah, let's see how the baby goes. I said, that is totally understandable.
Because, I mean, technically, they could be Bad Baby for a little bit.
No, Nathan already voiced Bad Baby once.
Yes, yeah. I was like, this could be even funnier to just have the baby as.
Well, I mean, Tokolati's pregnant, so her baby could voice Tokolati's baby.
Yeah, perfect. But no, I liked kind of where Carson's kind of guided, because it just seemed like, obviously with the way it had to be written with different changes, but it's like now he's kind of, he's always been so excited and so happy about everything, and it's like he kind of got almost what he wanted just with being a superhero and getting superpowers, something he just always dreamed of, and then it's kind of like, you know what? I've got what I wanted. Let's take a back seat a little bit. Let's start a family. Let's do this. But it just kind of.
But he sure seems to be in Tiptown a lot.
Yeah, he's in Tiptown a little too much.
Well, that's not what his wife said.
Good thing, yeah.
His wife likes the break.
Yeah, I was like, no, she's reforming. It's fine.
It would just be hard, I feel. Not every couple, but for a lot of couples, it would be hard to spend all day working together and then all day at home together. And I think it's probably healthy for them to work separately often.
Oh yeah, I think it's extremely healthy for them to do the way that they're doing it. It's perfect.
And with his super speed, he can commute in nothing.
Yeah, I was like, he's got. If only I really had that. God, that would be amazing.
You'd be down here for the show.
It'd just be like, yeah, hold on, yeah, I'm out of town. Great, here, let me go to Columbus right now.
Yeah,
perfectly fine.
Absolutely, I would love that. I hate sitting in traffic, but yeah. So what do you want to see from Carson next season, do you think?
Oh, I don't know. I would love to do another just Century City Paul-centric episode. I know. Yeah. I think that's just because I did like doing that. We did, was it one or two of those?
We've done two.
We've done two, yeah.
I'm planning another one, but Carson's stuck in the past with the Topnotch Tangler, so Carson probably won't be in the next one. I'm sorry.
Okay, nope, that's fine, yeah, because I didn't get to record that episode, at least in live
with everybody,
but I needed to reread it again just because I was like, I gotta record this anyway, but also like, oh god, I forgot that's what happened. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, you're back in time now.
Yeah, and then Smith, god damn. Damn it.
I mean,
should have known.
Your wife and child have been abandoned because you just didn't care enough. No, I'm kidding.
I was like, no, my whole point was to care more.
Quite honestly, had Anna not been having a baby, they probably would have got stuck in the past with you.
I figured, yeah.
But it was more like, we still could have done it because we're not doing that plot till next year. But it was still very much like
just whatever, yeah.
It's who was available at the time.
Yep.
So obviously, I think Carson's going to want to try to get back. But with Kristin Smith as his captor, what do you think he's thinking?
Just, kind of glad that he didn't pick Smith over Bad Rap. I think that's one thing, because then it just would have... that's
or is he just always attracted to bad girls?
That also could be it, though, too. Because he's so nice. He's just too nice that he just has to have that extra edge on this.
He does. But is Bad Rap really bad? I mean, what about all those nuns she didn't kill?
I feel like it's just in the name.
Yeah.
For her, it's just in the name.
Well, she did murder a lot of people, but since she's been with you, she hasn't.
No, yeah, she's changed.
And also, she was murdering people in a city where they just clone them and bring them back anyway.
Yeah.
So is that the same thing as...
No, she was murdering, but was it really murder?
Temporary murders.
Temporary murders. Yeah, that happens in fictional.
I think she's had a bad rap, is what I'm saying.
Oh no! All right, nope. I have to walk away. No, dad jokes.
Sorry, Carson is a dad, so
that's true. Yeah,
he would probably tell them.
That's true. Yeah.
Do you think his relationship with Kim and Carl has changed after everything he's gone through?
I think it's just because everybody's kind of changed throughout the entire show. So obviously those relationships always change. I would say, of course, I think Carson's a little more respected, and I think that's just because also he has powers, but I think because he's already developed into more of an adult role because he's married, or not married, but, has a kid, and, I think that kind of means like, oh yeah, he's He's an adult.
Yeah.
He's actually somebody who supervises another human being. Like,
And he has a career that they're no longer over him on,
yes.
which I think changes the dynamic
Yeah.
as well. But Carl still picked you to be the best man at his wedding, so I think
that
there's
was-
still a bond there.
There is.
That will
yes.
never be broken.
That will never be broken. No. That was his right-hand man for too long.
For too long. And now your replacement betrayed him. He should have chosen Vern. You picked
Yeah.
the replacement.
Oh, yeah, no, that was my fault. Again,
That
bad
wasn't
girls.
your fault. You picked the right person. Carl made the wrong choice.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You wanted him to pick Vern,
Mm-hmm.
and he chose Smith.
Yep.
So, any other thoughts you want to throw out about Topnotch? How it's going? How you hope it'll go?
I'm just happy to still be a part of it. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just excited to see where it all goes. I mean, it's kind of cool that we're going to be in the past for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't know which part of the past you're going to direct
The
it
Super
into.
War.
Okay. I was like, yeah, we'll see how it all goes. But I'm excited to be a part of it.
Good. We're happy to have you.
Yes.
Wonderful, Joe. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. That sounds so cheesy, but out the house.
Yes, Joe.
But you guys, I'm sure were fascinated by Joe's thoughts.
Oh,
But let's
yeah.
go ahead and hear your thoughts on Carson's changing role. I will preface this by saying we would have never taken Carson out of the sketch by choice. What had happened was Joe was leaving the troupe to move away, far away. So we wrote Carson out, and then he ultimately did not move, and only was absent from the troupe for a few months, and we gladly said, we'll pretend you never left. We'll put you back in. And we had even set up Larry as like a Carson replacement, which we did not use, even though I still want to see what's going on with Larry in his violent art. But that's why Larry entered that sketch and then never got
Missed
paid
that.
off, because that was supposed to be like the Carson replacement, and then Carson
Yeah.
came back. And I am so glad we have Joe, but figuring out how to keep Carson in the story after we wrote him out so completely. How do you think Carson's arc has gone over the last 2 seasons where he hasn't been living in Tiptown and working with them regularly?
Quick pitch, Larry should hook up with Smith.
We almost did with Larry and Holly Harper, and then I forgot it. You moved Holly Harper on the Captain Cup.
Oh my
Which is
God,
one of my
that's
favorite
right.
relationships.
The setup.
There was a commercial
Yeah.
setup, and I completely forgot that I was the
Yeah,
Captain Cup was set up. That was just me forgetting. That wasn't a purposeful choice of, it's not going to work.
Okay, something mind-bending there too, because if Larry were with Smith and then Comptroller with Holly Harper, and
Oh no, I was going to hook Larry up with Holly Harper.
I know, but now
Now,
so that
if Smith's around
there's
long
gonna-
enough, maybe
We'll
Yeah,
see
you
what
never know.
happens.
after this
Evil-
time travel
evil-
story.
Yeah.
Evil steeple fingers. So with Carson, I think he's always and forever going to be one of my favorites. He's just so sweet, and he's just goofy and he's a sweet character.
And he did miss a lot of season 4 because that happened to coincide with a few months left, and we had a whole bunch of Topnotch in a row.
Yep, and so I think him being gone, we've done it. I think we've done a good job at sort of reincorporating him, where it doesn't feel like he was forgotten about or written out. I think, his relationship with Bad Rap, and then he just, his family just had a big scenario, so it kind of almost makes sense that we would dip away from him for a little bit and move on to other storylines and then reintegrate him. So I think it moved pretty seamlessly. But you do miss him when he's not there. Like it's apparent. When
I miss him right now.
I know, we always do. But it's apparent when he's not there, but I think we did a pretty good job at.
And for the record, I do have plans to further integrate him even more back in as we
Okay.
go on.
That was-
he's not going anywhere.
That's what was kind
Unless
of
Joe leaves
bubbling.
the truth.
It was bubbling in my head there. It felt like it doesn't feel object permanence for me. It doesn't feel like he's really back yet somehow because he hasn't really been.
I completely agree with you because he's still living in Century City, and he only comes in to help out here and there. But he was your best man at your wedding.
But his dynamic with Dan's the Paul,
Yes.
I think
Yes.
is hilarious.
Yeah.
The Paul is fantastic.
I mean,
Need more of that, too.
There's always so much tempting to just do a Paul spinoff, but
Yeah.
we don't have room in the show for another segment.
Not yet.
We've done 2 The Paul episodes, and I don't think it's a big spoiler that I'm definitely planning to do another one next season. That we'll do probably 1 Paul episode every season.
Oh, good.
I mean, for the theme song alone, you can't put that one away for.
Now,
That song is so epic. It's just like, well, Remember that? Now, one.
I will just say you're gonna get the Paul again. If you're just listening to the Topnotch Tangler going episode by episode, you're gonna get the Paul again a lot sooner than anything.
Yay. Are we gonna do more of the kids?
Oh, the Tangler and Friends.
Yeah.
That song too was like, it's like.
What?
I love that.
Oh, the
That's so
cartoon
Yeah.
version?
Yeah.
I have asked Nick to write another one. I'm hoping we'll get to use one next season. But it's dependent on Nick because that's another one that I'm not sure I could write and do justice to.
Mm-hmm.
That was Nick's creation, and he did such a good job.
It was so funny.
There should be more.
And the fact that he had commercials and you missed part of the story was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so good. And I kind of feel like if he brings it back, it needs to be similar. We don't need the whole story. It's just. That was amazing. I have bugged him on and off for the last few years to write me another one. And I think he said he was going to do one, so maybe we'll get one next season. We'll see.
Get on it,
We'll
Nick.
bug him more. Yeah.
That was season 3. That was our season 3 finale, so we've now done 2 seasons without another episode.
It's time.
Yeah.
It's just time.
Carson, do you think there's any hope that Smith and Carson ever might get together?
From
What a bad rap guy.
From my character's perspective, there's always a chance. Because Carson's such a good character, and the fact that Smith exists and is a character, I owe everything to Joe and his work. I admire and respect his work on that character so much, and I think that Smith. I don't know if this is true or not, but in my brain, I think I filled in for Joe one time as Carson somewhere, and I think that's probably where Smith,
I'm
idea
pretty
of
sure
it.
it is.
So literally, I just think of Smith as just female. It's like me doing an impression of Joe doing Carson. Smith is just so I feel like everything that Smith is thanks to Carson. So I think that's
Well, I think it was a sub, and you did it at a time where we had just introduced Bad Rap. We knew we were going to do a love story, but everything on paper said that he should not be with her.
Yeah.
So bringing in, when you did that voice, I was like, so let's bring in the person that looks like the perfect match for him.
Right.
Because then, they'll play that out. But he chose Bad Rap over you, which...
way to rub it in.
We know in season 1,
Made her cry, Jimmy. Come on.
Cry, Katie, cry. No. We know back in season 1, I think there was a commercial where Carson indicated he played with handcuffs with a girlfriend, so we knew he had a edgier side to him.
I was a little disappointed somehow.
Yeah?
I'm not sure what it.
I love Bad Rap with Carson.
Yeah, it is, but I don't know.
But
What about all
hear me
those
out.
months she
Smith
did
is
it?
now morally gray. Does that do anything for Carson?
That's true. That's true.
Maybe that'll be the thing that.
Oh, Smith suddenly looks more attractive now that she's
Yeah,
crossed the line.
Bad Rap is secretly good. Smith is secretly morally gray. Never. I think in my mind that's always going to be somewhat of okay, there's a chance, even if there's not a chance in the world at all. I think that's how the character. There's a chance.
I loved that mini musical with you and Smith and Bad Rap.
Yeah, that was so fun.
I mean, we totally
That was so
lost
fun.
the Bechtel test that one, but it was still so much fun. And when you switch musical styles, I liked that a lot.
Yeah, that was really fun because, I get a chance to rap and then she's singing. It was just very fun.
I will say I love Anna Styles, and that character was created for her, and I love her performance of that character. She has played other
amazing.
parts. Love her. It was very disappointing to me that Bad Rap could not be included in this time travel adventure. I really wanted to send her back in time with them. And we could easily leave that baby behind, I think, but with a babysitter. But the reason we didn't is because in real life, Anna Styles just had her first child. She gave birth. In fact, you'll hear her in the wedding episode, but she had to re-record that at a later date because she was almost giving birth when we performed. So I think she had the baby a few days after that. So that is why she was not more prominent in this arc, and we're gonna have to let her sit out for a bit. But I would use her as much as I can because I really enjoy her and that character.
Could have been her second child.
Then she'd be back to work a week later, right?
Yeah.
I think we told Wendy the same thing.
Wendy's already had to.
I know. So the first one, we'll give you a pass. But the second one, come on, let's go.
You're getting out from the hospital at noon. Our show's not till 5.
Yeah, you're fine.
No, Wendy's taking maternity leave with both of her children, as is proper, and as she should. I'm not begrudging her that. So yeah, Anna, I know plans to return to the show. How soon will depend on her family life. She wanted to have the baby and then discuss it with me. But yeah, it's I look forward to her return, but I hope she's enjoying her time off. And by the time this goes on the podcast, hopefully she's already been back.
Yeah.
It'll depend on her moral fiber and her constitution and how much she cares about other people.
How much she likes us.
Yeah. How hard she works.
How good at character arcs will be.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't have enough lines. Excuse me. I need more.
I think Anna would show up for 2 lines. She's filled in
no,
to help with Foley sound. She's getting play. She's so nice. If Anna ever joins the troop full time, you'll see Bad Rap a lot more. But yeah, she's around most months before she had the baby, at least the last year or so.
Yeah,
anyway,
with another new character.
As we wrap up, I'm gonna.
No, I said badly. As we wrap up badly. Bad rap. Sorry. Yeah.
Great transition, Ed. I've got 2 more questions for you each before we wrap up. One is, what has been your favorite bit or guest or something in the last 2 years? Whether it's something that's funny or just memorable. I mean, I'll go first to give you a second.
Yeah.
I really liked Nathan returning as Bad Baby after Bad Baby was born as an infant. I enjoyed him going, wah!
Wait.
As the baby and not the grown-up baby. Yes. That was one of my favorite things.
Oh my god.
I knew for a long time that was going to happen. As soon as we made Bad Rap's character pregnant and him being the baby, I'm like, Nathan's going to continue to voice him.
That's funny. The reveal that was Bad Rap, Bad Baby. That's just maybe. I need to think, but it's just I should have studied first. I really should have. I didn't really.
Yeah, you should have.
Like, there's so many things.
I guess, like, the first thing that comes to mind for me was, I mean, not in terms of, like, being, like, super duper, like, funny or anything, but I like the episode where Smith and Carson break into the lab together.
Aww.
And, like, I was like, I feel like that's, like, a nice little moment before everything sort of, like, changes. Like, oh, like, we're a good team after all. And, like, you know.
And
got their little...
I know the podcast it'll be Joe, but I played Carson when we did it live, so I got to play with you. And that was fun.
Yeah, it was a good... I thought it was, like, a cute...
I enjoyed acting with you, Katie.
Thank you. I enjoyed acting with you, too. It's a
Bring out the best in him.
I was almost decent
And that is it.
It was almost decent.
He's not the best in him, but
Yeah.
sorry.
Katie's already the best, so we just,
I would have. I was distracted by the Tangler and Friends thing. That's one thing I probably would have said. But I just remember Cam actually. There's several things about that I like. The Cam's really dancing. Yeah, the whole the take on Cam is kind of
really
funny. And just when she started really getting an established character with the Pimmer Labs thing, that character just always killed me. That was hilarious. The thing, especially the bit with Larry getting the arm and just the callous way she kept kind of blowing through like the R&D of like what's going on.
Yeah, I'll be honest, if Karen hadn't left the troop, that character would still be very much part of the story because I enjoyed her and I was a little disappointed we didn't get to play her out further.
Yeah. I think 2 things come to mind as like some of my favorites. I loved one of the early arcs with Flim Flam Floozy. I really liked Flim Flam Floozy.
Are you advocating she come back?
No, she did. She's in tiny little bitty pieces.
Well, yes, but it's a superhero thing, and we know they have cloning technology, so you
That's
never
true.
know.
So I kept a piece of her flesh, you know. I'm just kidding.
Honestly, the number one reason I would not want to bring back Flim Flam Floozy is I know we won't have Caitlin available.
Yeah.
And that was Caitlin's.
So I really liked that whole arc. And then I also very much liked the Christmas episodes with the Grinchmeister.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The Grinchmeister cracks me up, and Shane does such a great job as the Grinchmeister.
That was when we did the villain team up. I wanted him as Larry, and we did not have room for the Grinchmeister. So the first thing I did with the season 5 was let's bring the Grinchmeister back and he does the villain team up.
I liked the Grinchmeister.
Yep. And last question, and we'll start with Katie again and go around. What do you hope to see in season 6? It can be for your character or the segment as a whole.
Can I answer for Smith and Holly?
Absolutely.
Okay.
No.
One or the other. Here's a coin.
For Smith, I'm just excited to see like a lot more character. I feel like she's been kind of just like a flippant, kind of like she's part of the main cast, but I feel like now we're getting into like the really interesting character development stuff for her, so I'm excited to see that for her. Okay, I thought of this for Holly, and I can't stop thinking about it, and it's one of those things that I don't know how to write, but like I kind of realized.
Yeah,
true.
see?
I know, and I talked to Nick about it. I was like, maybe I'm gonna try writing this, but like Holly Harper as like an accent, like I started to be like, oh my god, I feel like Holly Harper's kind of like Sailor Moon, because she has that whole like, have you guys ever watched Sailor Moon? When she's like, hi, I'm Sailor, I'm Usagi Tsukino. She's like this kind of like ditzy girl who like becomes a superhero unwillingly, and like I don't know that Holly's going to become a superhero per se, but she's like indestructible, so I feel like she's kind of getting accidentally dragged into the world. So I was like, I don't know, I've been kind of like her, like Holly more and more getting accidentally dragged into the superhero world is something that I'm like looking forward to a little bit.
More so than finding out Cop to Cop Crawler's secret identity. Because you guys are taking it slow.
I feel like she knows what she needs to know about him.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like
fair.
personality-wise.
Yeah,
she's not too concerned about it, and neither am I. I think she knows his heart, and that's enough. So that's what I don't know if any of that is in the cards.
I like it.
Thought of a couple things. One, Holly Harper saving the day against Smith. They should have a scene.
Oh my god!
She jumps back and forth between like
Yes.
when Shane had the evil mustache we made for him, and he played two characters.
Yeah.
Have an evil Katie with like evil eyebrows. And
Yeah.
just to hold it up.
Right. I thought you were going somewhere else with that reference. So Holly Harper should have a transformation sequence.
Yeah, like I thought that'd be fun. There's so much to parody.
Something kind of. Just
I'll
probably
watch an episode of Sailor Moon.
This
there's
is the intro. It's like it sounds just like Holly Harper. So excited.
There's a trope in anime and these kinds of cartoons where you have the background all disappears. There's like that circle and they're doing the thing, they're spinning around and
I'm familiar.
like waiting and that kind of thing.
Nice.
So if there's just some sort of sound effect or
musical,
little
make Kristin compose something.
Yeah, right.
So every time something about to happen, you have to stop and wait for like 10 seconds for the thing to
actually happen.
I like it.
What else was there? Oh, I had something else I thought. Go ahead.
Well, because I know a lot of the direction we think we're gonna head in, the only thing I'm gonna say is just make it big. I want it to be big and memorable. That's all. And I think it will be, but it's going to be a bang.
I was going to make it tiny, but now I'm thinking. Oh, I also want to know, do you think Carl is taking your last name? Or was that
I think you should. I don't know.
Commissioner Benson? That would ruin all the darling jokes, though.
That's true.
I
don't see her taking his name, though.
No.
It just that's one of
He can hyphenate.
It's one of the rare ones that kind of kept blowing by me. I mean, usually I feel like I'm pretty good at catching what's supposed to be.
That was funny.
Yeah, the thing that's supposed to be funny about the line to get the read on it and do the thing. But it's just like, oh wait.
Yeah. I thought if either of them switched their name, it would be much more likely to be him. But I also feel like I like writing the darling. Like double.
We're a future, a couple of the future. No one has to take anyone's name.
No, you don't. And that's most likely the direction it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Not to spoil, but most likely. Okay, well, thank you all for talking to Topnotch Tangler. I'm sure we'll do another roundtable again in another season or two.
Thought of it.
Yeah.
It was something way back when we were talking about the freedom fighters and so forth. Just like for the show itself, it's good that you're opening up the universe in the sense of like we've all been kind of focused on this town in that sense, and so introduce a lot of other concepts.
I plan to keep it expanding. So cool. Excellent. Thank you all for sitting down. Until next time, live long and prosper.
That was in my head too.
I did it for you. I'm going to cut it, but I did it for
Oh.
you. Until next time, I'll see you later.
Thanks, Kylie, for watching.
This has been It's All Been Done Radio Hour number 422. Story Roundtable number 12, The Topnotch Tangler, Seasons 4 and 5. It featured an interview with Samantha Stark, Keith Jackson, Katie Boisenalt, and Joe Morales, hosted by me, Jerome Wetzel. Please check out our website, iabdpresents.com, and support us at patreon.com/IABD. Have a great week. It's All Been Done presents.
Who's got the time?